So what do you do with your fermenting sauerkraut when you're going away for the weekend and the house is going to be cold? You're in a cold climate and you're not going to leave the central heating on. You can do this. So what I've done is I cut the sleeves off an old fleece jumper and I've put them on my bottles. And I set up a lamp to come on every half hour for half the day using a timer, and that seemed to work. Yep, let's go. My ferments, my various pickles kept fermenting. Also, what do you do if it's cold, it's winter and it's cold in the house and you don't have the central heating on? You could use the lamp and the fleecy sleeves to keep them warm while you're away. But another thing I tried was this heating strip, which is, I bought it online, and it's for heating vivariums, and a vivarium, I think that's how you pronounce it, is like a fish tank for lizards. So it produces heat and the lizards can just bask on top of it. So I've been trying this out and putting my pickle jars on top of it, and it works, it warms them up, but it got a little too warm. It was getting up to 30 degrees centigrade in the jars themselves. I was taking the temperature using this infrared thermometer. So they're 23 now. The heating strip isn't on, but I've got the central heating on. So it's 23 at the bottom of the jar, 23 at the top of the jar. So that's a good temperature, I think, for fermenting. But when I had the heating strip on, the central heating was off and the heating strip was on, it was 30 degrees, and I think that's probably a little too warm. I mean, I'm not sure, it might be alright, because it doesn't seem to have done any harm. But I think I'm a bit more comfortable with the temperature being around about 23, which it was about that during the summer when I was just fermenting on the shelf at ambient temperature. I think one of the consequences of it getting up to 30 degrees centigrade was that there was some evaporation out of the jars. You can see now that the level of liquid in the jars is below, on this one in particular, it's below the cabbage, below the vegetables at the top. So I'm expecting them to dry out or go mouldy, and having to take out a layer before I can start eating the stuff. This one doesn't look too bad actually. I think that's one reason not to have the temperature too high, because you will get evaporation. I think there's an art to getting the level right when you fill your sauerkraut jar, because if you have it too high, because there is some expansion of the liquid and you don't want it to bubble up and block your airlock, but you don't want it so low that if there is evaporation it goes below your vegetables and they start getting all furry and mouldy. So I think there's a balance to be struck.